welcome to our podcast, where we will be discussing one of the best real estate investment strategies, buying and holding real estate. I'm happy to introduce Geovana. She's our guest today. I know Geovana for a long time, and she has lots of knowledge in real estate investments. And please, Geovana, introduce yourself to the public.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. It is a pleasure to be sharing with you today, Juan Carlos. And like he says, my name is Geovana Prieto, and I a woman who is committed to lead, motivate, and inspire others to engage in real estate investment businesses. I am a founder of a Ysi Corporation investment company, and I am co-founder of a Vamos a Pagarte real estate training program. And I operate actively as an investor in Dallas Fort Worth area, and I'm here to share with you. And I'm very excited for this podcast.
That's exciting, Giovanna. Success in real estate investment is about developing a clear strategy and setting goals that align with your financial objectives. In this podcast, we will explore why buying and holding real estate is an excellent investment strategy and how you can implement in your investment portfolio. Giovanna, please tell us about a quick introduction about how is success in real estate investment.
Okay. I think that there are three main focus to be a success real estate investment. Based on my experience, is to the knowledge. I think knowledge is a big big thing to be success. If you know how to do things, how you can invest, what, where, and with who, so your investment business could be successful. Another factor to be a success, I think that is to be realistic, to know the market. And that's part of the knowledge. Market is very important to understand so you can variate the investments in real estate business. Another way that you can be a success is when you had a clear mind on the goals that you want, the strategies that you want to start. In real estate business is very expand business. And that's the good part of it. But it's not, but it's impossible to do everything at once, especially when you try this for the first time. So I think that one of the successes that I've been having to being a real estate investor is to concentrate in one thing and one strategy and to be able to accomplish the other as well.
That's very important, a really good system and process to be successful in real estate and especially in the buy and hold strategy. Buy and hold strategy is for long-term investment. It's not a short-term strategy. We're going to get rich really quickly, like in 2-3 months. But it's a strategy that you place some effort on buying the right property, on getting the right tenant structure, and a good start. The property is going to produce some cash flow over time for your benefit, and also it's going to produce a reduction in the loan, thus incrementing or increasing the wealth of the investor. What is, in your own views, Giovanna, what is buy and hold?
Okay, buy and hold is one of the strategies in real estate business. That means that you buy the property and hold the property for a long time, period. So that means that you need to have some certain things in place. One is to find the property in the right way and buy the property in the right way as well. The other one is to have the funding available to do it, because this is one of the strategies in real estate that you need to have your funding straight. If you out of the funding, you just ending to buy only one property and you need to wait for a long time to get another one. So, so to set up in the right way your finances, finances is a key for this kind of strategy. In this strategy, you hold the property. Most of the investors hold the properties for 5, 10, or more years. It just depends on your goals. But you see your investment and you return in a slow pace. The good thing on holding properties is that you be able to create wealth on the time. Like you just mentioned, Juan Carlos, it's not like you going to create your wealth from one day to another.
That's very good. Why is so important, the idea of generate income? Why is a real estate buy and hold one of the most important strategies for real estate investors? Why everybody should be buy and hold, or should be buying and holding properties?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of advantages in this. Every strategy has their own pros and cons, and but I think that everybody can be able to be an investor when they holding a property. It's just the idea of the clarity of what they had is only to get it one property. But if the people wants to develop this as a business, this strategy is help you in many ways. One of the advantages with the buy and hold is that that you create a cash flow. A cash flow, monthly cash flow, like you mentioned before. Also, the equity of the home, that is mean that the value of the home, we expected that increasing every year. So that increasing is help you for the cost of your property or your real estate. Also, the taxes, and they are in here in the United States. You be able to create to reduce taxes when you holding properties. So, and this is the most wonderful way to create wealth through the time. So, and most of the people wait for 5 years, 10 years until the return is back. And when they got the return back of what they invest, they sell the home. So, and that's another extra profit of it. So, and this is some of the advantages with the buy and hold, that you be able to create wealth and be able to have a portfolio, and that portfolio can open another doors. And that is not limit only for single families. It's also to for commercial, for multifamilies, for duplexes, for is very expand.
Always has been as a strategy buy and hold. The main strategy has been renting monthly, buying the property hopefully at a discount, and then you fix it, you make sure it's ready for rent, then you rent it to a tenant. It takes some time, and then the tenant signs a contract to lease the property from you for 1 year. And then the tenant is going to pay you monthly, right? And then you secure that monthly payment, and you can take the costs of paying the mortgage, insurance, maintenance, and you get some possible cash flow afterward, maybe a few $100 if you have a loan. But what about the strategy when you do short-term rentals, and instead of having that monthly income, you rent it in a shorter time? It means that you're gonna have a bigger payment per month if you compare it, but it creates more work, right?
Yes.
What is that? How do you compare those two strategies for holding a single home property?
Yeah, it's like about I can maybe say between 5 to 6 years that the short rents is came in place and grow tremendously. And there are now areas designated only for short rents than before. Before we hear a little bit about it. Now it's very common. But now, you need to invest in the property and you need to fix it right away. And the fix cost is increasing a little more than the regular rental, in my experience, because you had to put it for another target of people for short rentals. So, and that target of people, they require a little more renovation and a little more cost to have the property ready for short rents. But like you mentioned, the outcome of this is that you be able to have more cash flow, and every month you can see more than in the regular rent. But now in some areas, you need to really, and that's what I say, that one of the things that every investor, especially when you wants to start in this business, you need to get the education right, because you need to know and how to buy and where do you need to buy the properties, especially when you want to target short rents.
That's very nice, Giovanna. I was thinking about buying a holding strategy and either to choose the monthly rent or the daily rent. I think also it also depends on which areas do you buy the property.
Yes.
And then you can make that analysis, and it gives you a lot of options and then also professionals that can help you. You don't have to do all the work. There are property managers for monthly rents, and there are property managers for short-term rentals, and people that they fix the property all the time. And so, if you want to be a passive investor, 100% you can be, because you hire everybody. Or if you want to do some of the work and save some money, and you enjoy doing it and you are good at it, then also it's a really good idea to be a buy and hold investor and do your skills, no?
Yeah, exactly.
Buy and hold properties. I believe that we talked about in the past about the 5 steps, Giovanna, of buying and holding properties. How about the implementation business that is important. I believe that you mentioned that step 1 is finding the right property, step 2 is property financing, step 3 is the property management, step 4 is property maintenance, and step 5 is preparing for the unexpected, right?
Yes.
That you talk about it. Can you go in a little bit more in depth about each of these areas?
Yes, of course. Like you mentioned, the first and more diligence things that any investor needs to do is to find properties. And I think in this finding properties, there's many ways that you can do it. To do a lot of marketing, use the realtors. I mean, you need to create a team. And that's dependent on your investment goals. If you want to set out your investment goals and have that clarity, so you start with as soon as possible finding properties, because that's what everything start in the process in real estate. When you find the property, so you have to have your finance. That means the finances, you need to create a relationship with a bank or with others like hard money lenders, other investors. And one of the most beautiful of the investment as a real estate is that you use, like we say, the POA, OPA, others people money, right? So that's a lot of people who can, eager to invest their money with a good percentage and help you to grow your business. So it's finding the right people that they can set up that part for you. The other step is property arrangements that involves setting up the property. If you want for rental purposes, you need to decide the rental rates, rental agreements, the agreement of the tenants. That's very important, and I think that's in this strategy and buy and hold, you need to know your tenant. You need what kind of people you're going to enter in your property, and that's very important. And that's why some people hesitate to go sometimes to this strategy because the tenant. But if you had a good process, it is a wonderful strategy. The other step is the property maintenance and management. If you looking to for people that looking to make this to a business or growing business, you need to think to start to talk with property management people and see how they doing, how they can maintain the property. And because sooner or later you may going to find out yourself that you're going to hire those people and for your properties. So that's very important to know about management. What kind of management? This is what I'm going to do. Maintenance. How I can go and write the contract so I can set up about maintenance and manage the property. And the last step is preparing for the unexpected. And I think this is one of the steps that most people or most investors forget. They forget about separate money for the unexpected. It's like right now a good example of that. That's COVID. When COVID hit, most of the rental people get behind, but our bank is waiting for our money to pay the property. And so we need to prepare not only financially but also in make contingency plans to put it in place for a deal for unexpected events. Also is the worst thing that happened in buy and hold strategy is to have a property vacant property. So you need to move, and that's why it's important to get a management company in your side. So I think this is the 5 important steps that we need to concentrate when we looking for, especially for the buy and hold strategy.
Right, Giovanna, thank you so much. I think these 5 steps says everything about what you need to be successful in buying and hold, especially the finance, getting the finance right, and preparing for the unexpected. Over the years, I see many investors having problems, having issues. Because every time when you are a new investor, everything is wonderful. And then when you get in the business, you start seeing the reality. So preparing and having contingencies is great. And don't be afraid of making mistakes. No, it's important to make mistakes, but the idea is to make the smallest mistake as possible when you have the right coaching and when you're working with the right people. It's okay to make mistakes, but make smaller mistakes. Don't make the big ones. Systems for improving those chances of you doing the right deal and having the right success in real estate investments.
Yes,
that brings us to this topic and these questions about success, right? How success in buying and holding real estate is not just about following these 5 steps. It also requires a mindset shift and a willingness to continuously learn and improve. And Geovana, please tell us about what are the success factors that you see in people about seeking knowledge, developing new skills, etc., etc. I think that you have a really good. You can tell us, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm very excited to talk about this success factors because in our training group and in our training program that we have, There's a lot of new investors who comes and to try to learn, and sometimes they not realize that this the factors that I'm going to mention as follow is are very important to have it before you start not only a real estate business, but I think any business. So the first one is, like you mentioned, Juan Carlos, is get your mind right. When you get your mind right, you need to have a positive mindset to believe that you can do it, that believe that you be able to come out from your comfort zone and do more things. Having a real estate investment business is extraordinary, but it's demanding and challenging. So we need to accept that our mind needs to be adjusted and to be able to have that clarity that I always mention. And also to changing mindset doesn't happen by accident. It's given by decision. So we are the one who has to decide to create new habits. The other one, like I mentioned at the beginning, is to seek for knowledge. The knowledge, you need to continuously educate yourself about the real estate market, investing strategies, the best practices to stay on the game. Market is going to decide everything in this business. So if we don't know, or we're not prepared with knowledge for that kind of market, our business is going down. So knowledge is the key that opens the door to opportunities. Investing in your education, especially for those new people, and this is applied for everyone, for people who wants to start, or people who already started, or people who wants to grow more in their businesses. The power is acquiring training with the right people. And that's important. The other one is develop new skills. Investing in real estate requires a diverse set of skills, including negotiation, people skills, management, marketing, and it doesn't mean that we need to know everything. That's why people who are training and for a specific skills, but we need to know what kind of skills is needed for my business. So I can hire those people who are going to help me to grow. But we're going to develop some another skills as well. So develop new skills that's the great opportunity in this business. And the other one, don't be discouraged or find excuses. You know, we need to believe in the process. This is like you mentioned, this is a business that if you want to see results, you need to be persistent and patient. It's nothing that is come out from one day to another. The fourth is the have detailed plans. Planning is crucial in real estate investing. You need to have a clear investment plan, marketing plan, and it is real good when we say a marketing plan is the guide for your business. So when you have that in place, you'll be able to visualize exactly what is the path that you want to follow in this business. And I think that the last one is the most important of all, is to take a massive action. You can have the education, you can have the detailed plans, you can have everything set up, but if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen. Investing in real estate is not for the fan-hearted. It requires taking bold and decisive action. So that's something that I always tell my people when they came to our trainings. The action is needed to get results. So if you want results, you need to take an action. And sometimes that actions are not comfortable. and sometimes it's something that we never expected. But if you want to see results, they need to take it. So the other one is to create alliances like this one. The alliance that we've been creating with Juan Carlos is going to take you somewhere. And building a strong relationships in these businesses with experts, with people who can help you, with the banks, with the real estate agents, with property management, all those people who's going to help you to grow your business. And like I said, I think that could be the last one, is to be persistent. And like I mentioned that before, persistent, patient and persistence, that's the key. You had action, you need to wait to see the results.
That's very nice. That's very well said, Geovana. I like the action part. Your plans, your ideas, but I like the action with a really good plan. Over the years, I learned that it's better to take it a little bit slower, create a good plan, take your time, create your bases, do a well setup of your business, and then go and execute. Sometimes when we try to execute really, really fast, we make more mistakes, and then it takes us longer, and we are busier, and it takes us longer, and we spend more money. So sometimes it's really, really good to start with a lot of energy, but take your time to do good planning in the different areas and get surrounded by the right people, as you said, the right alliances. That's awesome. That is very, very important. And what you said is be persistent. And when you start something new, you get so excited, and then you need to be persistent when there are errors or there are mistakes that you make. Don't keep doing it. Keep doing it because that's how you win. That's how you end up winning. When you have a few losses, a few wins, and then you have more wins than losses, that's when you really win. So that's so important. Thank you, Geovana, so much for teaching us about the systems and about how you see real estate investments. We have some questions from social media. Some of our clients are asking us and agents with the company. So a few of these questions, Geovana, you can please answer in a minute or less. That would be really appreciated. What is the process for finding and selecting the right property for buy and hold strategy?
Yeah, sure. Well, marketing, that's the key. Marketing, that's the best way. You need to find the right marketing that applies to your business. Targeting distressed properties. For me, that's the way that I've been building my business. Targeting distressed properties. Realtors, that's making a relationship with realtors that can help you. And I want to say in here, realtors who are experienced working with investors. Not everyone is training on that way. So value those people, those realtors who are working with investors. Driving around, educate yourself and how to do all the above.
Very, very nice. Next question. How is the value of a property determined in the real estate market?
Okay. Well, unfortunately, there is not an easy or general way to determine the market value. However, there are two important factors that we need to consider. One is the real appraisal, estate appraisal, and the recent comparable sales. So it's going to determine the value of the real estate. So that's why, and that's changing by day to another. That's why we need to be educated in the market. And so I think this is the two factors who really going to determine the real estate market value.
Very, very nice. This question is so important. What financing strategies are available for buy and hold investors, and how do they affect cash flows?
Okay. There are some people that it says, okay, come and be an investor and you don't need money for it. I can maybe just depend on the way that you're going to look it up. You can find some and doing some deals without money, but you're always going to need money for some. So one is to create a relationship with your bank. the bank that you can create a credit line. So for that, you had to put your credit score in order, and there are many steps that you need to do to create that relationship with your banks. The other one, that's the hard money lenders that are available, and that sometimes some investors mention that is they are very hard to work with them sometimes, but that's a good way. I mean, so for some investors, they had a very good experience working with them. So it just depends what you're looking at. The other one, I mean, use family members. Yeah, find people. I remember when I started without money. I started with nothing, which just I had the desire to learn and the eager to take action. And so I use other people's money. So at this point, I use the bank only once. The other time that I do in all my investments, that's using the other people's money. But to get to that point, you need to create a name. And when you create a name, people is going to trust you. And when we always build our business in a very, very, very ethical way. So people trust us and they say, okay, this is my money and work it out and give me a piece. So that's one of the strategies that is being based in our experience.
Right, and you mentioned at the end how important is ethics and behaving well in the market. And for this last question, how can the long-term success of a buy and hold investment be measured?
Okay. Buy and hold estate investment strategy is which an investor buys a property, then plan to own over a long period, right? The value increase over the time of the property. I explained that in the beginning, that when you buy a property, maybe next year the value is going to be different, but it's very important in how you buy, because not all areas that could happen. So that's why you need to be very knowledgeable in where you're going to buy to maintain it for a long period of time. Because sometimes instead of increasing, decrease. But most of the time, the value of the property increase over time. And the investors enjoy a stable monthly cash flow from the rental income, like we mentioned before. These properties can be I also mentioned the single families, could be duplexes. I'm eager to start with multifamilies, buildings. It could be very diversible. And once of the property value exceeds the money the investors put in the property, they can sell for a profit. So, or keeping and receiving and continue receiving rental.
That is true. In conclusion, buying and holding real estate is a smart investment strategy that can generate steady income and long-term appreciation. By following the 5 steps we discuss and adopt the key success factors, you can achieve success in real estate investing if you're organized, right?
Yes.
What do you think are the benefits of buying and holding? What are the significance of the benefits, and what are the significance of working hard and following the 5 strategies? How do you conclude this process of finding success and having something significant in your life?
Oh, yeah. I think that people, we work hard. Most of the people work hard, and there's nothing in their bank. So real estate business, and especially this strategy and building and hold, is the way that we can build wealth with rental properties. And rental properties is one of the ways that we can see the process of everything. The process of buying, the process to maintain it, and the process to sell it. And in through those stages, you can see how your income and your bank is growing as well through the time. So if you really wants to start, it's just dependent. Everybody start differently. Like if for me, in my case, I started flipping houses, flipping, and I love that strategy. I love that strategy bring me the cash flow that I needed to continue for the goal that I have. It's just dependent on the goal that you have. So clarity, set up your funding and the rental properties. I think that's the most important thing, so you can create wealth.
The benefits of buying and holding real estate are significant, including passive income, tax benefits, and diversification of your investments portfolio. So if you are looking to invest in real estate, consider buying and holding as a strategy. Finally, I invite you to explore the different strategies in real estate and find the one that best suits your investment goals. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this podcast informative and helpful. Finally, Geovana, can you tell us do you recommend any books or any final tips that would you like to tell us?
Yeah, sure. I think that's the most common and important book that I start telling people to read is the Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. Another one is the 10X. That's the action from Cardone. This is the two books that really helped me to start when I started this business, to understand a little bit the business and somehow, and to understand my goal, that everything starts with ourselves first. And any kind of any strategy that you want to do, start with you. So, I can maybe say those books. Surrounding, like you mentioned, surrounding with people that share your goals. Because that's going to help you to maintain motivated and maintain yourself up.
Very nice. Thank you, Geovana. My big advice for buy and hold is 50% find the right property and 50% find the right tenant. And then you have really good business among everything else that you have to do. Thank you for tuning into the Enjoy Real Estate podcast. Today's episode was hosted by me, Juan Carlos Cruz, and our guest expert was Geovana Prieto, expert in buying and holding real estate. Our podcast is produced by the Enjoy Real Estate team with support from our marketing team. Our editorial team includes our writers and editors, Jorge Hernandez, Brian Castellanos, and Javier Vargas, and thanks to our sound engineering team. We would like to thank our audience for tuning and supporting our podcast. Your continued support and feedback are essential to our success. Today's episode or any other topics related to real estate investing, please visit us at Instagram at enjoyrealestate.us. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes, thank you.